This podcast is sponsored by My Bump to Baby Family Protection and Legal Directory. To find your nearest advisor or family law solicitor, head over to www.mybumptobaby.com/family protection legal. Hello and welcome to My Bump to Baby Expert Podcast, where we bring experts from all over the UK to answer your questions on everything pregnancy to preschool. Today we invite on Lianne Stevenson from Green Cheeks Cloth Nappies, and Lianne is going to be answering all of our questions about cloth nappies. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello everybody and welcome to My Bump to Babies Expert Podcast. Today I am joined by the lovely Lianne Stevenson, the owner of Green Cheeks Cloth Nappies. Hi Lianne, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's actually quite sunny outside, so I'm quite happy today.
Rogue sunny day.
Exactly. In October, it's quite a nice thing to wake up to. So we're going to be today talking all around cloth nappies, because I know a lot of parents are curious, but they're just not quite sure of the process. I mean, I am definitely one of those parents. So I've got a few questions that other people have sent in. So are we okay to get started with those?
Absolutely.
Perfect. So Lianne, first of all, tell us what cloth nappies actually are.
So a cloth nappy is a nappy that you don't throw away. So it is a reusable nappy. There are literally hundreds of different brands and probably 10 different types of cloth nappy that are out there in existence, but the principle is all the same. It's some sort of absorbent fabric with a waterproof layer on the outside. It's the gist of it. So nappy changing time, rather than bagging it up and throwing it away, you will store it in a bag or a bucket and wash it and start over again.
So it's definitely more eco-friendly to do it that way.
Absolutely.
So in terms of cloth nappies, when can you actually start using them? Would you use them from birth or would you wait a little while?
So personally, I waited a while. I started at about 8 weeks. First time new mum, absolutely clueless about motherhood in general, had a cesarean, getting through to breastfeeding. So I would say, especially if you're a first time mum, give yourself a break, like get used to all the other stuff first before putting this extra pressure on yourself. Mm-hmm. You can do cloth nappies from birth. Right. Most cloth nappies are called birth to potty. So the idea is they will take you from birth to potty training because they adjust in size as your baby gets bigger. But they only really work on bigger babies in the first place. So you sort of 9-10 pounders. Oh, wow. You can buy special newborn cloth nappies, but then that's a whole second set of nappies that you've had to buy, which you'll use for about 3 months.
Yeah, definitely. No, that makes sense.
It can be done, but it's an extra cost and can be a bit stressful.
And I like how you said that about the pressure, because I think as a new mum, when you first have a baby, there is so much pressure around you, and when things don't work out, you can sometimes feel like, oh, I failed at that. You haven't. You've had a baby.
It's hard having a baby, especially your first baby is hard. So everything is new to get used to. So if I was you as a first time mum, I would leave it a couple of weeks, spend some time. When you've got a baby asleep on your shoulder, spend some time doing some research, look online, look at forums, look at Facebook groups, learn what you can learn about it. Because it is a bit different to disposables. There is a bit more to get your head around. Once you've got it, you're fine.
It's just getting in that routine, isn't it? And just knowing what you're doing. So that makes a lot of sense. So how many then cloth nappies would you start with? How many do you need, I suppose?
So if you were going to go for it and do cloth nappies all the time, you'd need about 20 or 25 nappies. So that's based on washing them every 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
Your rabbit babies are very different, and they change as they get older. But if the average baby's getting through 6 to 8 nappies a day, that gives you 3 days worth of nappies plus a day to wash them and dry them.
So you'd start with around that amount. And do a lot of companies then have like a starter pack, or do you buy them individually, or how does it work?
Yeah, there's loads of different ways of doing it. So at Green Cheeks, we do a starter kit where you can buy 12 nappies all at once at a discounted price. Because another thing I sort of suggest to people when you're getting used to cloth nappies is to start at home. Just buy some, get used to using them at home, because then you'll get used to how long your baby needs before we need changing.
Yes.
Because with a cloth nappy, they're a lot less forgiving. Once they're full, that's it. Whereas disposable nappy, you've got a lot more chemicals and things in there which are sucking the moisture away. But when you've got a nappy that is cotton or hemp or whatever it is, once that's full, there's nowhere else for it to go. It's going to come out the sides. So you kind of need to get to grips with how long your baby will last before needing a change. Averages out about 2 to 3 hours with cloth nappies, but every baby is different. And just when you think you've nailed it, they will change the game, because they'll get a bit older and they'll hold the wee for a bit longer, or you'll start weaning, or something will change them. So I mean, every nappy change counts. You could, even if you just had 1 or 2 cloth nappies a day, that will massively impact the amount of disposables you are throwing away. So you literally start with 1 just to see how you get on with it, or if you want to just go for it, you want about 25.
Yeah, so you can kind of do like a bit of combi nappying. So when you're at home, you can put your little one in these cloth nappies because you're at home. It's a bit easier sometimes, and do it that way just to start, and then slowly kind of spread out to more if you want to. Yeah,
because you're growing confidence as you get used to doing it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. 2 to 3 hours doesn't seem so bad at all, really. Like, I mean, I know every baby will be different, but that doesn't seem like, because I just wondered whether it was a constant flow at a young age of wee. I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, there is a difference too in what your nappy's made of. So, like, generally, you've got microfiber. These are things that the absorbent bits that are inside the nappy. So you've got microfiber, you've got bamboo, cotton and hemp are the 4 main components for the absorbent part of a nappy. Microfiber tends to be the cheaper end of the nappies, not always the case, but actually holds the least amount of liquid. So and in general, the higher you got the absorbency, the more you're going to hold, the longer they will last. There's something to be said for combining absorbencies. So you can combine microfiber with a hemp, for example, inside the nappy, and then by doubling up, you're helping with how much you're going to absorb.
No, that makes a lot of sense. It's quite a minefield, honestly, only because I use nappies, but I'm really into the kind of helping the environment and looking into it and stuff like that, because I'm expecting at the moment. And it does interest me, like how it seems like there's a lot to it, but really it is just replacing that nappy and just learning that it is a bit different in terms of keeping an eye on it. So the benefits of cloth nappies, I mean, I can think of quite a few off the top of my head, but can you share what you know, because you'll know a lot more than I do.
So one of the big things is cost. So the average baby from birth to potty training, saying that potty training is around 3 years old, will use about 5,000 nappies. 5,040 I worked it out to last time I did the maths. And if you work that out in terms of premium brand nappies, that will cost you about £1,000 in nappies over those 3 years. 25 Green Cheeks nappies with boosters, so double the amount of absorbency, would cost you £345. So that's there is a big cost saving there.
That's huge.
And if they need the same nappies for your second, third, fourth, however many kids you have, that then that cost gets even less. Plus, once you have potty trained, you've done it, there's a resale value to nappies. There's loads of Facebook marketplace deals, so you can sort of recoup some of your cost once you finish potty training, and get some cost back that way as well. So you can really drive the cost down of your nappies.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't realise that even existed. So that's really good.
Yeah, so money wise is a big thing.
Yes, of course.
Environmental factors. So rough stats, 7 million trees are cut down every year to make disposable nappies, because most of what's inside it is all like paper pulp, which is in there. So loads of nappies. Lots of people argue that does the environmental factor will really weigh up? Like if you're washing nappies, does that really work out much better? It actually takes 9 gallons of water to make one disposable nappy.
Oh my goodness. I
should have checked, but modern washing machines these days, I don't think even use that much to wash all your nappies. So you consider that as your environmental.
Goodness, yeah.
And then there's all the other raw materials that go into making disposables. It is just a lot more is used for disposables, and then just throw them in the bin.
And then also, I suppose it's the baby's skin as well, isn't it? There,
that's another big one. It's because there's no chemicals. Nappy rash is very rare. Infection, very rare. There is an argument for cloth nappy babies potty train easier.
Yeah, that would make. I did wonder that actually. I thought that might be the case.
And it's something to do with because they've been used to. Because disposable nappies, the chemicals in them suck away any moisture, so the baby is left feeling dry all the time. With cloth nappies, there is like a liner in them, but the baby is left feeling a bit more damp than what they would have done. So when it comes to potty training, that can ease the process. They
would know that they need changing, really, wouldn't they? I suppose, and then it's
become more aware of it.
Yeah, no, that does make sense.
Oh, landfill is another big one.
Oh, yes, yeah.
3 billion nappies we send to landfill every year. And they take about 500 years to decompose. And the whole time they're in there, they're releasing methane gases.
Oh, my God.
Lots of environmental factors to consider.
So by even if someone was thinking of not going the full way with cloth nappies, and they just wanted to even make a small difference to the environment and to their pocket as well, they could just do it at home. Because for me, like, I think, oh goodness, I'd be a bit nervous initially going out with it, but that's not to say that you, like we said earlier, you could kind of start and then kind of progress as you go on. So that's really interesting. So what's the process then from kind of putting that cloth nappy on your baby to, washing it, drying it, and then putting it back on again in a few days' time?
So baby's in a way. Well, let's do wee first, that's the easy one.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Of course, I didn't think of that.
If it's just wee, all you need to do, you don't need to soak it or bleach it or do anything with it. All you do is take it off the baby and store it somehow. So in a bag or a bucket or whatever you're going to do with it, put it in there. And in then 2 or 3 days' time, you'll wash it. If there's a poo in it, so before baby is weaning, you don't do anything. Pre-weaning baby poo is fully water soluble, so you can chuck the whole thing, poo and all, in the washing machine.
Wow!
Once you start weaning, things get a bit more exciting. You have to then get the poo off before you wash it, or you just have turds in your washing machine. But
just floating around. Yeah, that's probably happened to me before. Not me or my husband, probably my son actually. You know, when the odd nappy's been thrown in there, you don't realise. Oh yeah, that's happened.
But did you know, pooey nappies? I know this is gross, but even with disposable nappies, you aren't supposed to put poo in the bin. You're supposed to take the poo out before you.
Oh really?
Yeah. So you aren't supposed to send poo to landfill.
Oh wow, goodness! Right, okay.
No one does. I don't think anyone really knows, but no, you're not supposed to.
Right. So with the poo then, what's the right thing to do then with poo? I guess. I never thought I'd ask that.
How's your Monday morning going? Yeah.
I know. Nearly lunchtime as well. I don't know if I can handle it.
So once you're into weaning, you'll get to a point where it's a normal poo. So you can just tip it down the toilet and it'll fall off.
Yeah.
There's an in-betweeny stage when you'll have to get a bit more get your hands dirty, I suppose. But
yeah.
So with me, my shower head from the bath will reach the toilet. So okay. I would then get the shower head, put it on the jet mode and blast the poo off into the toilet.
And it wouldn't take long, I assume. It's just like a quick thing. Yeah.
And let's be honest, babies are pooey, smelly, sicky things anyway. Like it's not the most clean experience, is it, when you're in motherhood?
No, definitely not. I smell of sick the whole time. Yeah. No, that makes sense. So it's just finding the thing that works for you, really, I suppose, in that sense.
Yeah, you can have scrape it off or squirt it off, or it'll fall out.
Pick it off. Well, not with your hands.
You can also, you can get liners too. You can get this liners that you put inside the nappy. So when it's those, you take the liner out.
Oh, so there's quite a few options in terms of that. So once they've gone in the bucket, when you talk about this bucket, does the bucket have water in or anything, or do you just an empty bucket? So they're in there, and then when it's time to wash, when you've got a few in there, what's the process then?
So chuck them all in the machine, put it on a cold wash for, I don't know, your shortest wash, about 20 minutes, half an hour, cold wash. What that will do is clear out the wee from inside the fabric. And then after you've done your cold wash, go again, a long hot wash in your washing machine. It's really important to check your washing powder dosage, because it varies so much between hard water and soft water and the size of your washing machine. So you need to check all that out to make sure they're using the right amount of powder for your circumstances, because these are the dirtiest things you're ever going to wash. So you've got to you are using the right amount of wash powder for it. And you can, if you weren't doing full-time nappies, so you only had like 5 to wash, for example, you can put anything else in there with it. So baby clothes or flannels or towels, or you can bulk the wash up. The only thing you shouldn't do is don't use fabric softener, because fabric softener coats the fabrics, actually makes it repel liquid.
Oh wow, right, okay, so you shouldn't use those. And is there any washing powder that you shouldn't use that's going to damage these or harm the lifetime of these cloth nappies?
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of minefield of information about wash powder. Right. In general, we recommend non-bio. But you'll get a different answer with every one that you ask.
Okay, yes. No, that's fine. That makes sense.
I would say use non-bio and don't use stain removers or bleach on them, because that can damage the fibres. But washing cloth nappies is one of the most contentious topics in the cloth nappy kingdom.
Yeah, I bet. It's just, until you're just not sure, are you? But with the... So once the nappies have been washed, are they often hung out to dry, or can you put them in the dryer, or would you put them on radiators? How would you dry them?
We'll dry them on low.
Right.
Obviously, in terms of being environmentally friendly, outside on the line is the best way for it. But winter, that ain't going to happen. So you can't tumble dry it. Can go on the radiator. The other thing to be aware of on radiators is any plastic parts. Avoid putting those directly on the radiator, because if it gets too hot, you'll end up melting the thing. But other than that, you can get these, the things you get for hanging socks up.
Yeah,
those are good.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So you could, I suppose, if you've got a maiden and you just put it, we've got a boiler cupboard, you see, that gets really hot, so you could just kind of store it in there, couldn't you? Put them in there. Right, okay, that's great. That's interesting. So it actually sounds like a pretty simple process, really.
Yeah. You wash it, put it back together again, off you go.
And that's it. Great. So how often do you think then you need to buy a new set of cloth nappies? Do they go up in what sizes?
So if your average baby. If you're starting at about 8 weeks, say, and you've got like a 14-pound baby by then, I don't know how quick babies get bigger these days, but mine's 3 now, so I've forgotten all what
you do, don't you?
What size they were. But if you're starting from about a 10-pound baby up to the age of about 3, the same set of nappies will do you for that entire time.
Wow.
You won't need to buy any bigger ones. If you potty training doesn't go so well and the child gets older or they're not dry at night, then you're going to need to think about that when you get to 3. And there are nappies out there for bigger children, but in general, your birth to potty nappies.
Wow.
Do that, because they have a thing on the front. They have these like little. I know this is going to be a podcast, but there's
no, don't worry.
Settings on the front so that you can take it down from being its smallest, which is that.
Oh, so you've got, is it like a clip or button?
Yeah, it's like poppers on the front of it. So you like clip it down, so that's its smallest size.
Oh, right, great.
And if it gets bigger, you undo those, and that's its biggest.
Oh, that's great.
So so one of those would do you.
Oh, yeah. So basically you can just grow, they grow with the baby then. So that's even more cost effective.
If you haven't got to buy a different set for when they get to 1 or whatever, it's the same set.
Right. Do you know, it's probably always, even if you're thinking cloth nappy isn't for someone, anyone listening to this, even if you're not thinking it's not for you yet, we've all had, well, probably not everyone, because there's a lot of super organized people out there, but I have had times that I've gone like to put a nappy on my little boy and I'm like, where are they? So I think cloth nappies are a great option. Anyway. Like even if you're not going to be doing it all the time, you never know when you're going to, need one, put it in your changing bag and things like that. And that's great. But obviously this podcast, we want to encourage people to be more environmentally friendly. And also there are so many options really. So I guess your main advice then, what would you say if you were thinking about starting out?
So give it a go, buy a couple. I wouldn't go out and buy 25 all in one go. I would research a couple of brands, buy a couple, and try it out at home. You can also hire them. There's across the UK there's a whole chain of nappy libraries, so that you can actually find somewhere locally where you can borrow their nappies for 4 weeks, so you can try it out. I'm actually part of this group called the Cloth Collective. We've just started a nationwide hire group. Wow. So there's 8 small brands, and we put together this kit. You can hire it from us for 30 days. So you get to try all these. In it is every single different type of nappy that exists from 8 different small businesses.
That's great. So that's lovely that you're all in it together.
Yeah.
I love that.
8 mums, all work at home mums, all that want to make a positive change to the world and the cloth nappy community. So we put together. We only launched it a month ago. Maybe not even that.
That's brilliant. Right. Oh, that's really interesting. So I think that's covered everything. But Lianne, could you tell us a bit more about your brand and where when you started, and also where people can find your nappies? Yeah.
So Green Cheeks was born out of my own cloth nappy journey with my son. So I knew when I was pregnant I wanted to use cloth nappies, but I didn't have the faintest idea about it. I thought I was the only person in the whole world that had this crazy idea. So the nappies that I bought to start with were very close to being absolutely useless. But it took me a while to find my way onto forums and websites to sort it out. And what I found, the sort of nappies that I wanted to use didn't quite exist. So we always preferred Velcro fastening ones because they are much more like a disposable to put on, because the alternative is ones that pop, like snap together. But most of those that I found that are out there didn't have a very high level of absorbency inside them. So Green Cheeks are mostly an easy to use Velcro nappy, but the absorbent material inside is hemp, which is one of the most absorbent fabrics there are, plus one of the most environmentally friendly ones to grow as well. for the boring hemp reasons.
No.
But yeah, so I want it to be really easy to use, but highly absorbent and not be stupidly expensive. So they start from £9.85 for one nappy, and that gets you easy to use with hemp nappies inside. And they're online. It's greencheeks.co.uk is my website, and it's Green Cheeks Cloth Nappies on social media. If you want to follow me for general nappy nonsense.
No, that's great. Really interesting. So thank you so much for coming on today to talk to us anyway, because it's definitely a question. I've had these questions for so long in my mind thinking, and it's just good to kind of have them all answered. If anyone else has got any questions, I'm sure Lianne would be happy to answer them if they message you on social
email
media.
or a message or find me.
Oh, perfect. So thank you so much for being our guest today anyway.
Thank you for having me. It's been great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching our YouTube video today. If you are liking what you're viewing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can see more of our videos and more of our updates.